We live in a world that screams happiness should be the purpose of life. Watch an ad, watch a movie, scroll your phone for 5 seconds, everywhere. We're showing the same message. A successful person is a happy person. But here's the question. Is happiness really our final goal? And is suffering something that we should get rid of at all costs? Or can suffering be a condition, perhaps, for being human? Both 1984 by George Orwell and Brave New World by Aldous Huxley are labeled dystopias. But if you look closely, they're dystopias for very different reasons. In 1984, for example, humans are controlled through fear. And in Brave New World, humans are controlled through happiness and pleasure. Today, we're going to look at Brave New World again through 4 lenses: happiness, pain, stability, and labor. Before that, a quick plot summary. Brave New World is surprisingly simple. This emotion called unhappiness is eliminated through a drug called soma. The society in the book doesn't manage people, but it manages their moods, their emotions. Everyone is born into a pre-designed class system from alpha to epsilon. Your intelligence, your job, and even your desires, they're all decided before you're born. And then today's protagonist, someone who doesn't belong in this society, John, or the savage. He looks at this perfectly happy society and rather is disgusted by it. He resists and fails. In his final confrontation with the world controller, Mustafa Mond, he screams, "I claim the right to be unhappy." And after that, he collapses. Now, first perspective, happiness. Is happiness a human condition? In this world described in the book, people don't feel pain. The moment discomfort appears, soma wipes it out. Even when people are doing exhausting labor, and even when they live inside this obvious inequality, people are not suffering. They're happy. And at this point, someone might say, hey, if happiness is good and pain is bad, that's basically a utopia, isn't it? But here's the first problem. It's recognizing that happiness is not chosen, but it's engineered. No matter how happy one is, if that person has lost the ability to think, doubt, or question, that happiness isn't making them more human. And honestly, I think this is also where the book starts to feel uncomfortable in today's world. We're used to watching very short videos, shorts, reels, and instant stimulation, dopamine rush. And when an unpleasant emotion shows up, we cover it with something louder, faster, and stronger. Now, I'm not saying that someone is secretly controlling us, no. But we can ask this. Are we adapting to this so-called happiness and giving away our ability to think? Is our ability to think slowly eroding? Second perspective, about pain. Is pain really evil? Now, obviously, nobody wants to be in pain. No one wants to feel anxious, sick, or uncomfortable. That's why we make money, we save up, we exercise, and we try to eat healthy as well. All in the name of happiness. But then in the book, John is saying something shocking. He's saying, I want pain. Why? Because for John, pain isn't just about suffering. It's the condition for growth and thought. Now, growth is an uncomfortable progress by definition. Most progress, they eat short-term pain to create long-term possibility. So without this pain as precondition, perhaps this becomes our logic. Hey, things are fine. Why bother changing anything? And it's at that moment humanity stops moving. It stops progressing. Now, there's another reason pain matters. Because it allows us to recognize others as being real. For example, if you've never felt pain, if you've never known pain, someone suffering just becomes information, not reality. Only someone who knows what it's like to work hard can truly understand exploited workers. Only someone who knows the pain of being discriminated can grasp that it's not just an inconvenience, but a wound. Pain hurts. Of course, we want to escape it. But if pain disappears entirely, do we, humans, disappear with it? So the real question is this: do we want blind happiness? Or are we willing to endure pain to remain human? Third perspective, about stability. The Brave New World is a perfectly stable society. No protests, no resistance, no complaints. Rather, everyone complies. So stability sounds great. Hey, a life without anxiety, without war, without economic collapse. But stability always demands a price. And that price is human agency. Let me use a physics metaphor, entropy. Simply put, this means if you leave things alone, order breaks down. And societies are the same. Questions, conflicts, dissatisfaction, accidents. These create change. But Brave New World blocks disorder before it appears. How? Soma and conditioning. And furthermore, it removes 3 destabilizing forces: art, science, and religion. But why are they important? Because art imagines alternatives. Science questions explanations. Religion asks about meaning. So in the name of efficiency, it replaces transcendence. And when efficiency becomes the highest value, humans become measurable outputs. At that point, other people, others, aren't companions, they're competitors. Stability sounds nice, but if stability turns humans into beings who never question, it leads inevitably to dehumanization. Last perspective, labor. At its core, Brave New World is about labor. Everyone performs a role, but no one changes the world through their work. In Hegelian terms, labor isn't just survival. It's the act of externalizing your ideas into reality. Thinking something, making it real, leaving a trace. But in this society, humans never externalize themselves. Work is execution, not creation. And execution becomes obedience. Linda can only consume. In the savage world, she becomes useless. And once humans become objects, they become replaceable. And a replaceable human is no longer a subject. Is this just fiction? Or are we also being pushed toward becoming replaceable functions in the name of efficiency? So the real question becomes, how do we remain irreplaceable humans? Maybe the answer is simple, though not easy. Treat others not as competitors, but as allies. Share emotions, share questions. And that's where our agency survives. So to conclude, Brave New World asks one final question. What makes us human? Happiness, stability, efficiency, or pain, uncertainty, questioning, and choice? The book isn't frightening because it's unrealistic. It's frightening because it feels familiar. As technologies erase discomfort, as we avoid inconvenient questions, as efficiency becomes sacred, Brave New World stops being a future warning and starts looking like a diagnosis of the present. So, what would you choose? A society without pain? Or a society that allows humans to remain human?